What's up, my Central Unit? Is the Central Man here. So this is my top 10 worst WWE World Heavyweight Championship title reigns of all time. So I'm not going to talk about the current World Heavyweight Championship on the current WWE product, not the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. I'm talking about the big gold belt, from that run between 2002 to 2013. So the guys who hold the big gold belt, who's world champion, whether it's the titles on Raw or SmackDown, they end up being a flop, whether it is a very short title reign, bad booking, bad matches, guys who are not quite there yet to become world champion, or maybe they're just really not cut out to be a world heavyweight champion, or maybe they don't really need to be world heavyweight champion. So I made a good list. So if I missed out of a guy who been a world heavyweight champion, leave your thoughts on the comment section below. So the first one on my list is CM Punk's first World Heavyweight Championship title reign from 2008. CM Punk won the World Heavyweight title on the 30th of June 2008 edition of Monday Night Raw. Edge, who's the World Heavyweight Champion at the time, basically gloating and brag about Raw not having a World Champion on that brand, because, by the way, this was after the 2008 WWE Draft. Edge, like I said, was the World Champion on SmackDown. Triple H, who was the WWE Champion, got drafted to SmackDown. So Raw, for a short period, did not have a world champion. So anyway, by the way, CM Punk won the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 24. That was in was it March and April? So fast forward a few months later, CM Punk cashed his Money in the Bank briefcase on Edge after he got attacked by Batista. He got Batista bombed by Batista. So Punk cashed the briefcase, hit Edge with the GTS, pins him, and become the World Heavyweight Champion, and managed to get the world title back on Raw. After that, before that, he got really good. It was a good moment for Punk, but afterwards, his run begins to flop. I think at the 2008 Great American Bash pay-per-view, he fought against Batista in his first title defense. I think the match was ended in disqualification. I think it was by Kane. Then he had a match against JBL at SummerSlam. I feel like his first title run for Punk was he's just a mid-carder holding the World Heavyweight title. I think Punk, in his early days in WWE, until about his first run in WWE, he was kind of like a cookie cutter babyface in the early years. But fast forward to the 2008 Unforgiven pay-per-view, he was supposed to defend it in the championship scramble match, but he got taken out and ran out by Randy Orton. He got punted in the skull. So it's a damn shame that Punk never got a chance to defend it. He lost the world title to Chris Jericho. I think his second and third title reigns, from 2009, 1 year later, was a bit better, even though it was a little bit shorter. But I feel like he was doing the whole straight edge gimmick. He doesn't drink, smoke, do drugs. He had a good feud against Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker. After his first title reign came to an end, he ended up back in the mid card. Yeah, he went on to win the Intercontinental Champion, became Intercontinental Champion, and become a tag team champion with Kofi Kingston. So his first title run was just flat, just basically just a mid-carder holding the title. It's basically the belt makes the wrestler, not the wrestler makes the belt. So at number 9, I think I'm going to combine it. So we got Dolph Ziggler's 2 World Heavyweight title reigns from 2011 and 2013. People forget that Dolph Ziggler is a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. People talk about when he won the world title in 2013, the Raw after WrestleMania 29. But no, Dolph Ziggler won the world title for the first time 2 years prior. It was the final SmackDown before Elimination Chamber 2011 pay-per-view. At the time, Edge, who was the World Heavyweight Champion, was feuding with not just with Dolph Ziggler, but his on-screen ex-wife Vicky Guerrero, because Edge and Vicky Guerrero were husband and wife in kayfabe. Vicky banned Edge's finisher, the spear, and also making this accusation that Edge attacked SmackDown GM Teddy Long. So Vicky not just stripped Edge the World Heavyweight title off him, he got fired. So Vicky awarded the World Heavyweight title to Dolph Ziggler, and then out comes Teddy Long, and Vicky spills the beans and find out is Dolph was the one who attacked Theodore Long. So Teddy made this match for Dolph Ziggler to defend the World Heavyweight title. That was against Edge. And his reign was about, I don't know, this is probably the shortest World Heavyweight title reign of all time. So Edge beat Dolph Ziggler for the world title, and then Dolph got fired. He went on to Raw. And so, yeah, that was the shortest title reign. I think it was lasted about a minute. So and then fast forward to 2013. So in 2013, Dolph Ziggler became the World Heavyweight Champion for the second time. He won the SmackDown Money in the Bank briefcase at Money in the Bank in 2012, cashing his Money in the Bank briefcase on the Raw after WrestleMania 29 against Alberto Del Rio. This is the Raw with the crowd reaction. So anyway, Ziggler beat Del Rio for the title and become a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. You thought Ziggler's on cloud 9, he's going to have a good title run. At the time, Dolph Ziggler was in this on-screen relationship with AJ Lee, and you got Biggie Langston as his bodyguard, his muscle. So he was supposed to defend the World Heavyweight title at the I think it was at Extreme Rules of 2013. It was supposed to be a triple threat match, a triple threat ladder match. Him, Del Rio, and Jack Swagger. But instead, Dolph Ziggler suffered a concussion, so the match was changed in the last minute. So his first title defense was at Payback in 2013 against Alberto Del Rio. All of a sudden, Del Rio, regained the World Heavyweight title from Dolph Ziggler. They did the double turn. Ziggler, who was entering as the world champion, was a heel. Del Rio was a babyface. So all of a sudden now, Alberto Del Rio is now the heel. Dolph Ziggler as the babyface now. So, and I feel like, what's the point putting the belt on Ziggler, man? this should be his year, but unfortunately he did challenge, not just for the world title but the WWE title years later, but he never touched World Championship gold ever again until he became TNA champion, world champion, in his current product. I think it was like 2025. So yeah, his reign was so short. They never give him a chance. I feel like the first time around he was not quite ready yet, but his 2013 run, you thought they'd give him this big push, but all of a sudden they just want to put the belt on Del Rio, give Del Rio a lengthy world title reign. So it's just a disappointment, man. So at number 8, we've got Christian's first and second World Heavyweight Championship title reigns from 2011. Christian won the World Heavyweight title for the first time at the 2011 Extreme Rules pay-per-view against Alberto Del Rio in a ladder match. This was Christian's first world title in 17 years, even though he's been ECW champion twice in 2009 and a little bit in 2010 before that brand was retired. And he's been TNA world champion, or technically the NWA world champion in his run in TNA. But Christian became a world champion for the first time, if you count the ECW title as the world title of that brand, but that's another story for another time. Anyway, so good for Christian. 5 days later, it was on the first SmackDown after Extreme Rules, in his first title defense against Randy Orton. Christian lost the World Heavyweight title to Randy Orton. That was a bit of a bullshit moment, I think maybe the reason why, because Christian was a surrogate champion. He was only there because it was supposed to be Edge versus Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight title in that ladder match at the Extreme Rules, but instead Edge has to forfeit the World Heavyweight title due to his retirement because of his spinal paralysis. So it cost him 9 years of his career. So Christian was basically filling in for Edge and to carry out for the rest of his title run. So he dropped the world title to Randy Orton, went on to have a good feud in 2011 for SmackDown, because at the time they started doing the first brand split. But anyway, so Christian turned heel. Then his second world title win was at the 2011 Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Christian won the World Heavyweight title, or regained the World Heavyweight title against Randy Orton. Christian spit at the face of Randy Orton. He got himself disqualified. Christian became a 2-time World Heavyweight champion. So. And then on his first title defense on pay-per-view, this time as a heel, he once again dropped the World Heavyweight title to Randy Orton. I don't understand this, man. I thought they given Christian that push. Whether he never give Christian a chance to give Christian a lengthy reign as the World Heavyweight champion, whether he's a babyface or a heel. So it's just like putting the belt on that guy. I'm talking about Randy Orton, by the way, who's been world champion in the past. So it's so repetitive, man. I feel like at the time Orton was getting that Super Cena treatment, but not giving that guy, I'm talking about Christian, by the way, who he has been he was a big fish in a small pond in TNA. You thought they're gonna, they managed to put the world title belt onto Christian, and you thought that he's getting the reign, but unfortunately, no. I don't know what the reason. I think it's dumb. So I put Christian, his 2 world title reigns, in number 8 on my list. So at number 7, we got Goldberg's first and only World Heavyweight Championship title reign from 2003. I know, guys, I know he was the WCW World Champion in 1998, but that was in WCW. But this is one in WWE, because it's different companies, But anyway, Goldberg's World Heavyweight title reign from 2003, it was not really that bad, but it was so flat, Goldberg won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship at Unforgiven in 2003 against Triple H. Yeah, Goldberg won the title, dethroned Triple H, become the new World Heavyweight Champion, but it was too little too late, Goldberg should have really won the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam the previous month inside of the Elimination Chamber match, but the story. Triple H hit Goldberg with the sledgehammer, and that was the end of his momentum. All the momentum Goldberg has is all gone, and then he won the belt, but it was like too little too late. I think Goldberg's feud with Triple H was not that good. Yeah, they had that bounty, Triple H put the bounty on Goldberg's head. Yeah, he had this brief interaction with Goldberg and Batista. I think they had a match on Raw, but that rivalry was not that good. The matches between Triple H and Goldberg was not good. When he won the title at Unforgiven, that was not that good. I covered that show years ago. The rematch at Survivor Series, the triple threat match at Armageddon at the end of 2003, Goldberg, Triple H, Kane, it was fucking average. I think the reason why Goldberg's World Heavyweight title reign was so flat because this was during his first run in the company. They kind of put Goldberg in these matches for so long with a story that it just really exposes Goldberg, his weakness, because when he was in WCW, they put him in these shorter matches, and then, fast forward in his first run in WWE, you put him in these longer matches, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes matches. It kind of exposed him. He's not known for doing these longer matches, and also I think this was only designed to get the title belt back on Triple H pronto. So in an ultimate timeline, if they booked Goldberg's title reign, if he really won the belt at SummerSlam and put Goldberg in these shorter matches, and even though they end up doing it in the second run of the company, I think we can say something different about Goldberg's first and only title reign in WWE, as the World Heavyweight Champion. But it was just too little too late. And I don't think Goldberg and Triple H had some good chemistry, so that's the reason why I put Goldberg at number 7. So at number 6, we got Big Show's first and second World Heavyweight Championship title reigns from 2011 and 2012. I know, like, Big Show, Paul White, the Giant, whatever you call him, what did held that big gold belt, in WCW. That was WCW. This is WWE's version of the big gold belt. The first time he won that title was at TLC in 2011 against Mark Henry. Even though he's been a world champion before in WCW and WWE, and also you can count the ECW title as a world title, but he won the WWE's version of the big gold belt, like I said, TLC 2011 against Mark Henry in a chairs match. And Big Show think he held the shortest title reign in the history of WWE's version of the big gold belt. I think it was about 20 seconds, I think? 20 seconds. He had Mark Henry attacked him afterwards. I think he DDT him onto that chair, and then Daniel Bryan, who was the SmackDown Money in the Bank holder, cashed his briefcase onto the Big Show to win the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time. So that was just kind of wrapping up Big Show's feud with Mark Henry. It was short, but it's a damn shame. I feel like, what's the point have Big Show winning the big gold belt, even though that he's gonna lose it? So anyway, let's fast forward like a year later in 2012. This time Big Show's now a heel. When he won the world title for the first time, he was a babyface. Now he was the heel. He won the world title for the second time against Sheamus at Hell in a Cell in 2012. I think at this moment in time, Big Show's title, that title run in 2012 was pointless. I think at this moment in time, I think Big Show don't really need to be a world champion. His title reign was not that good. I think he set up some bad matches against Sheamus. Like when he beat Sheamus, I remember when he beat Sheamus for the title at Hell in a Cell 2012. It was a good match, but the follow-up matches at Survivor Series and the chairs match at TLC 2012 were not that good. And he ended up dropping the World Heavyweight title to Alberto Del Rio on the first SmackDown of 2013. Even though his feud with Del Rio was kind of okay, it's whatever, take it or leave it. But I feel like his 2012 title reign was not that good. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like his first and two World Heavyweight title reigns, I think like Big Show doesn't really need to be world champion. He's been world champion already throughout his run in WWE and certain extent, in WCW. I think they're trying to take, because I think the reason why I think the reason why they've taken the title away from Mark Henry and give it to the Big Show, because I think not Big Show, but Mark Henry got hurt, or wrestling hurt, so yeah. You're giving it to the Big Show, and then Henry, the man who lost the world title, attacked him, being like this sore loser, and then Daniel Bryan's coming out, cashing the briefcase, and never give. Even though I think if he has a lengthy run, I think it'd be not so good. It'd be cool if you give Big Show a 1 month title run, but it's just what it is, man. So that's the reason I put Big Show at number 6. So, at number 5, I got to talk about this guy. If one day I might do an update version of this video, like with an update list, and just basically talk about Triple H's, all of his World Heavyweight Championship title reigns, I might will do that, or basically do a different video talking about the reign of terror of Triple H as the World Heavyweight Champion. I will do that, you know. If I do it for this video, it's gonna take me all day. The one title reign of Triple H in the Reign of Terror I'm going to put for this video is his second World Heavyweight Championship title reign from 2002-2003. So Triple H won the World Heavyweight title at Armageddon of 2002 against Shawn Michaels in the 3 Stages of Hell match, because Triple H lost the World Heavyweight title at Survivor Series the previous month inside of the Elimination Chamber match. You know, he lost it to Shawn Michaels. Then all of a sudden, you know, he regained the world title 1 month later at Armageddon 02. This really kicked off probably this was a bad title reign for Triple H, you know, because at this moment in time, Triple H just formed Evolution with him, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Batista, and I get why, to make that Evolution group work, you know, have Triple H as the World Heavyweight Champion. I get it, but his 02-03 reign is not that good, you know. I feel like his other reigns were average, a bit okay, but that's not saying too much. But like his second title reign was not that good, you know. He had some bad to average like feuds. Like Greg Sample, he had like those 2 awful matches with Scott Steiner. You know, his match against Booker T at WrestleMania 19 was okay, but it didn't do much for Booker T, man. He had like not a good feud with his fellow Click member Kevin Nash. I don't want to talk about Goldberg's, like his feud with Goldberg was bad. You know, that's the reason I put Goldberg in that list. I don't need to talk about it. So, you know, it's just like I think at this moment in time, Triple H is I think he was overweight. You know, that could be the reason why his matches sucked. You know. You know, so like he had some maybe 1 or 2 matches, but I feel like one, not doing the job to Goldberg. I feel like, and 2, like I feel like him winning the world, you know, he hold it far too long, you know. Like his run, you know, he won the title in December of 02, hold that belt throughout the whole of 2003, you know. I feel like at this moment in time, on the SmackDown side, the WWE Championship was changing more hands with different people, but it's just Triple H. You know, like I said, I don't want to get in all details about the Reign of Terror. That'd be another story for another time. But his second reign was not that good. You know, like crap feuds was, like I said, was Steiner, Kevin Nash, and Goldberg. You know, Booker T was just like racist. You know, but like. You know, I think like he kind of like holds the World Heavyweight title back. So, you know, I'm not saying it's the worst of all time. You know, he's like that's the reason I put it at number 5. So, we're in the final four. So at number 4, we got Rey Mysterio's first World Heavyweight title reign from 2006. Yep, I know Rey went on to win the world title again 4 years later in 2010, but I'm going to put his first world title reign in 06. Rey Mysterio won the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 22 in a triple threat match between him, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle. Yeah, Rey Mysterio's world title reign in 06, it was not that good. You know, the only reason why Rey won the world heavyweight title, not even that, you know, he went on to win the 2006 Royal Rumble match and went on to win the world title at WrestleMania 22. The only reason why he got that push because of Eddie Guerrero, because Eddie passed away in November of 2005. That is the only reason why Rey got that push. His run as world champion is not that good. You know, he ended up losing a lot of matches, I think to the bigger guys. He's supposed to be this underdog champion, you know, he's losing to the bigger guys like the Mark Henrys, the Great Khali's. I think he lost to Finlay, who's not that big but kind of taller than Rey, you know, to a mid-carder, you know. But you know, you got guys like Khali and Henry. They went on to win the world title in the future. But yeah, I think he had 2 title defenses on pay-per-view, you know, against JBL at Judgment Day. That was a month later after WrestleMania 22. And then, I'm lying, 3. You know, he, you know, the other one was at 1x10 of 2006 against Sabu. I think it was a tables match. And that was, I think it was a tables match. I don't know, but or an extreme rules match. I don't know, but that was ended in a and then really a double count out or non-contest. Well, it's the same thing actually. And then he ended up dropping the world title to King Booker at the 2006 Great American Bash. You know, I think there's like on paper, you know, putting on the world title on Rey was not a bad idea, but yeah, I feel like they booked it like shit. Not, you know, he's only there because of Eddie. You know, he's kind of like the poster boy trying to carry on Eddie Guerrero, carry on the flame, but it's backfired on Rey. It's basically, like I said in my review of WrestleMania 22, it's just alienating and pissing off fans of Eddie Guerrero, but also you're just pissing off guys or you know, guys who really you know, are a fan of Rey Mysterio. So that's the reason why I put it at number 3. You know, his second world title reign in 2010, it's not that bad. He had 1 title defense, I think it's Jack Swagger, and that was it. You know, that was not really, I'm not saying it was a great reign, but it was kind of better than his 2006 reign. So, at number 3, we got Randy Orton's first World Heavyweight Championship title reign from 2004. He won the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam of 2004. Technically, he found the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam of 04. I know, guys, it's Chris Benoit he beat. I'm just joking. Don't need to take anything too seriously. But Anyway, so yeah, Orton beat Chris Benoit at SummerSlam of 2004 to win the World Heavyweight Championship for the very first time, becoming to this day the youngest World Heavyweight Champion of all time at the age of 24. Then the next night on Raw, Randy Orton got kicked out of Evolution. You know, Triple H and his crew, Batista and Ric Flair, beat him down. And then fast forward to Unforgiven of 2004. In his first title defense against Triple H, Orton lost the World Heavyweight title to Triple H. What's the point putting the belt on a guy who won the world title knowing that he's not going to get like a run? Like, if it was like a 2-month title reign, maybe, but like 1 month, he lost it, you know. Same as the Goldberg title reign from 2003. The only reason why they got the belt, so they can really, once again, trying to like put the belt back on Triple H. That's the only purpose. That was like the first purpose why Orton's title reign was bad. And second, I think Orton was not quite ready yet, you know. Yeah, like, you know, ever since he, you know, ended his feud with Mick Foley, you know, he's all of a sudden got like fast track into the World Heavyweight title picture, you know, against Chris Benoit. And yeah, he won. I think the reason why Orton got the title is like the oohs and ahs, knowing that he's going to lose to Triple H. Yeah, and yeah, he was not really quite ready yet, you know. He was kind of like, well, I don't say young, but kind of like, you know, just a mid-carder holding the world title, man. I feel like I think his character was not really developed yet. I think, you know, not just like Orton is not just had like a bad world title run, he's like had really a bad babyface run. That's another story for another time. But yeah, like you know, like he went on to win the world, become a multiple time world champion after 2004, like become a multiple time WWE champion. He will never touch the big gold belt again until 2011. I think at this moment in time he's more of an established star compared to like in 2004. He's not quite ready yet, but yeah, he became an established star, went on to have a good feud with Christian. But back in 2004, yeah, I think they trying to experiment on Orton as a soon to be a potential main eventer. You know, in hindsight, yes, but at the time, too soon. So So at number 2, we got Jack Swagger's first and only World Heavyweight Championship title reign from 2010. He won the World Heavyweight title on the 30th of March 2010 episode of Friday Night SmackDown. How we get there? So Swagger won the Money in the Bank briefcase in the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 26. Fast forward 5 days later, he cashed his Money in the Bank briefcase on Chris Jericho after he got speared by Edge. Yeah, Jericho got speared by Edge. Swagger cashed his briefcase, hit Chris Jericho with his finisher, that is the Gun Wrench Powerbomb, to win this match, or this impromptu match, and become the World Heavyweight Champion for the first time. So, like, here's the problem about Jack Swagger as the World Heavyweight Champion. It was a flop. I feel like Swagger, like Randy Orton, but they were kind of not ready for the World Heavyweight title. I think at this moment in time, I think like the World Heavyweight Championship is starting to lose its luster. Like with Swagger, I feel like it's just a mid-carder holding the World Heavyweight title. Yeah, he had I think he had like 4 title defenses. He had. I might be wrong. You know, he had a title defense against The Undertaker on a Raw. He had I think it was his first title defense on pay-per-view was against Randy Orton. Makes no sense because Swagger was a SmackDown guy, Orton was a Raw guy. And then he had a crap feud with the Big Show, set up their match at I almost say Fastlane, but it's called Over the Limit. And then he dropped the World Heavyweight title in a Fatal 4-Way match at Fatal 4-Way to Rey Mysterio. Like, here's the problem with Swagger, man. I feel like the eye wasn't hot on Swagger because he was on Raw, didn't do nothing on Raw, won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I can't say he's the worst. He's one of the worst Money in the Bank holders. Like, they never built on him. You know, he's not like winning matches. And all of a sudden, you know, yeah, he beat Chris Jericho, won the world title, and then what? Like, he was not quite ready, man. Like, I think he was just. I don't think he was world champion material. Like, I think that was a mistake to take the title away from Chris Jericho. You know, it was. You know, I think he held it for like nearly like 2.5 months, and you know, it was just so crappy. You know, I think he was showing his accolades. You know, maybe it was before, maybe it was after, or maybe during his world title run. I might be wrong. Of the Swagger Soaring Eagle. You know, it's just a lot of crap. You know, it's just crap television. And yeah, like Swagger never win the world title ever again in his career. So at number 1, we got the Great Khali's first and only World Heavyweight Championship title reign from 2007. The Great Khali won the World Heavyweight title on the 17th of July 2007 edition of SmackDown. He won a Battle Royal. You thought, Great Khali as the World Heavyweight Champion, is it a bad idea? Not too bad, but it was a very bad idea. The only reason why Khali got the World Heavyweight title because Edge got hurt. He faked the World Heavyweight title. I think he injured his pec, so they need a top heel on SmackDown. So yeah, Khali as the top heel and the World Heavyweight Champion. This is a bonehead decision. So, like, Khali, no disrespect, physique wise, like, the guy is a freak of nature. I think he holds the record of being the tallest world champion of all time. I think he's about 7'5". I think he's way taller than the Big Show, taller than Kane, taller than the fucking Undertaker. But ability wise, Khali can't work for shit. He's just a statue. He does the chop. He does that choke slam bomb. He does the vice grip. He does that. The grunt. That's it. It's set up like probably the worst. I don't say the worst feud of all time, but probably the worst feud of 2007 was against Batista. It set up that awful promo, the basketball promo. Batista says basketball cannot hold grudges, and the fans chanting "You cannot wrestle" towards the Great Khali, and it's kind of true. And I think he held it until September, I think. I might be wrong. He didn't really hold that belt that long, and then the crescendo of the reign is that fucking Punjabi prison match against Batista. Thank God they took the world title belt off of Great Khali. That was a bad experiment. And Khali never won another world title ever again. I think this is the only championship he won, in the WWE. Thank God, glad he never won another title, man. That would be another stupid idea, but yeah. The reason why I put Great Khali as number 1, guys I'm talking about the bigger guys like Orton, Big Show, Swagger. They can actually Goldberg, even though Goldberg's not super great in the ring, but they can actually move. They can actually go in the ring. Khali can't. So that's one of the reasons, man. He doesn't really speak English. He speaks Punjabi. He has his kayfabe brother Ranjin Singh as his mouthpiece, but physique wise, presentation wise, yeah, but ability wise, no. That's the reason why I put Great Khali as number 1 as the worst world heavyweight champion of all time. So, what's your thoughts on this list? If I missed out a guy who's been world champion in the past, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube. Be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.